Right now, we're going to have the reading of the law. So we're going to start in Exodus, the 20th chapter, verses 1 through 17. Brother, when you get it, read it.
And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. 6 days shall thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
We're going to Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verses 13 and 14. Read it when you get it, brother.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Revelation 22, we're going to read 14 and 15. Read it when you get it.
Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
So that's the reading of the law. That is the path of life. If you follow these things, you'll find eternal life. So I want to say good afternoon to all the children of the covenants, to the natural seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the spiritual seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Commonwealth of Israel, the household of faith, good afternoon. And again, the Lord has blessed me to stand before you. And today, my reader will be Rob, and he is not going to read fast.
I surely will not.
So I'm giving him another chance. So I don't know if y'all seen the title of the lesson. The title of the lesson is, I heard somebody electronic device. What's going on? Stiff-necked people. Don't be stiff-necked now. I call you out. So the title of today's lesson is The Sabbath Sanctified and Holy. The Sabbath Sanctified and Holy. Because, you know, we have this thing, like Brother Simone showed me his the calendar on his phone, and they made Sunday the seventh day.
Wow.
And yeah, and they've been doing that for a few years over in Western Europe. But now, you know, they changing on the cell phones. So yeah, they can't fool us, but they can probably try to fool our children. You see they got the whole world being queer now, right? Because they came after the children. That's what they did. It was an agenda. So, and that agenda goes deeper than we think. You know, it's really about cutting the priest of God off, so we can't teach the world how to get salvation. But yeah. So when the brother showed me that, I said, you know, I haven't done this lesson in 9 years. I said I'm gonna have to do it. So to show you the importance of the Sabbath day. So we're gonna begin this in Genesis the 2nd chapter. Normally I like to run things down, walk it down for you, but today we ain't gonna walk it down because somebody done turned the heat on and it's like 90 degrees outside. It felt like that anyway, but I don't know, something gotta happen. Because I'm up here, shoo, I don't know what it is. Oh, it's the lights. It's the lights. There ain't no hot flash. You need to go home. Anyway, Genesis chapter 2. We're going to begin at verse 1. Yeah, Genesis 2 and 1. Go ahead, brother.
Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. Mm-hmm. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made.
So now we can read in chapter 1, all those days before it. He didn't bless none of those days, but the seventh day it said he blessed. Let me move this a little bit. That echo is getting me. Y'all can still hear me? Yeah. So he blessed the seventh day, and he did what with it?
Verse 7. And the Lord God formed man.
Go
back up through. You say right here, and God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it.
Sanctified it, right? Mm-hmm. So that means he did something special with the seventh day. Not the 14th day, not the 9th day, not the second day. It's the seventh day. He did something special with that. You finished that verse?
Yes.
All right, go ahead. We're going to bring man into the picture now.
Yeah, verse 7.
Verse 7, yeah.
And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
So man became a living soul. So when you read where it say the soul that sin, it shall die, if the soul is inside you, how you know if it's sin or not?
That's a good point.
So that means the person that sins shall die. But anyway, God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So this is after he already set in precedent what the Sabbath was going to be. So the man didn't help him make the Sabbath, but he made Sabbath for the man. Let's go into this Compton's. You got it?
Mm-mm. I ain't got no.
I didn't give you everything right there, brother.
I thought that was the book.
It should be in order. So right after that, you don't got to. It should be in order.
Sanctified and inviolable.
All right. So we're gonna read the devil. This is from the Compton's. Read the bottom of it and tell them where it come from.
From Compton's Interactive Encyclopedia.
There you go. What we reading about?
Sanctify.
Go ahead.
Sanctifin, sanctifier, sanctificare, see saint. To make holy, specifically to set apart as holy, consecrate, and to make free from sin.
To make free from sin. So this day supposed to be free from sin, right? Mm-hmm. What's the rest of it?
To make binding or inviolable by religious sanction.
To make binding. That means it's sealed. That means this is a contractual thing. If it's sanctified, it has a specific purpose. It said inviolable, right?
Yes.
That means not to be violated. So go ahead and read inviolable.
Inviolable, not to be violated, not to be profaned or injured, sacred and inviolable promise that cannot be violated, indestructible.
Indestructible?
Yes.
Wait a minute now. So if the Sabbath is sanctified and it's inviolable, it can't be destroyed. It's indestructible. How can it be changed to Sunday? If it's indestructible, how can it be changed to anything else? How can it be changed to the 11th day or the 14th day or the 3rd day? How can it be changed? He said this, he blessed the 7th day and made that unchangeable. This is how important the Sabbath is, because this is how you connect to God. See, because if you don't keep the Sabbath, it don't matter whatever else you do, you're going to be far from God. It's like people deal with changing the Sabbath, and then they end up breaking the dietary law. They end up committing adultery. They end up dying in their sins because they got away from the Sabbath. You finished that invaluable?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to continue. Exodus 20, 8 through 11. So we're gonna read about this Sabbath here. verse 8. Let's go.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Mm-hmm.
6 days shall thou labor and do all thy work.
So the 6 days, the Lord labored and did all his work, but he rested on the 7th day. And he's telling you, do what I did. Follow after me. So he said those 6 days, you labor and do all your work and your pleasures or whatever, right?
Yes.
And then the word but came in there. So but dismisses everything that was before it. So now he said, but remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Come on.
But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work.
Any work, come on.
Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
So if you got a business, you can't make your employees work on the Sabbath. If you got a dog, you can't make him go fetch the paper on the Sabbath. So you can't ride your horse on the Sabbath. Everything supposed to rest, man and beast. Go ahead.
That was the end of that.
Okay. That got good. Read again.
Okay. First, start at 8.
Yeah.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy strangers within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
So it lines up with Genesis. It said he blessed the 7th day, and he made it holy. So it's blessed and holy, and it's sanctified. Who gonna change it? Who gonna do anything to it to try to damage it in any kind of way? They've been trying. You got this person, this office that just been vacated by death. But anybody in that office, the book saying Daniel that they seek to change times and laws.
Yep.
And this guy that's coming up, this the one y'all better get ready for. Y'all better get ready for this one, because you can see plainly this Donald Duck. He set it all up for the United States to have to need some help, because them people over there, they ain't got no love for us, none at all. So he looking at Vladimir cheesing. Yeah, I told you I can take it anytime I want to, but you gonna give it to me. So we better get ready for that. Y'all better join the NRA. That's my little way of saying what I can't say. You heard me?
Yeah.
All right.
Needs some protection.
So anyway, we're going to Matthew, the 4th chapter. Matthew chapter 4.
Skipping Leviticus.
I skipped Leviticus. That's I did.
Right after Exodus.
Today ain't even on my paper. Okay, Leviticus 19. I don't know why I didn't print out. Ain't it 23?
Right here.
Who put that on there? I got a whole different paper, man. Anyway, okay, Leviticus 23.
1 through 4.
Okay, all right.
Then Matthew.
I thought I took that out. I tried to make it a short lesson. But since it's on there, so much for making it short. Leviticus 23 was 1 through 4?
Yes.
Let's go.
Thou shalt not raise. No, I'm sorry. What's wrong?
Calm down, brother.
You got me nervous, man.
Hey, you're doing it with the R right now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Lord, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts.
He said, these are my feasts. These are the Lord's feasts. We just got done with the Feast of Unleavened Bread, right? It's the Lord's feast. It's not the feast of the Jews, not the feast of Israel. It's the feast of the Lord. Go ahead and read.
6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation you shall do.
It's a holy gathering. Not only is it sanctified, not only is it indestructible, it's a Sabbath of rest. It's a holy gathering. So one of the apostles said, forsake not the assembling of yourselves together. But a lot of people, as we can see, forsake the assembly. But when you forsake the assembly, you miss something essential that you need. You miss something. Because The whole purpose of this thing is to find out how to get eternal life. Well, everybody gonna get eternal life, but I mean how to get that good eternal life in the Father's kingdom.
Yes.
You know, because you're gonna live eternally in that fire. That means you're gonna be dying every moment.
Woo.
Every moment you're gonna be dying, and that's gonna be eternal, infinity and beyond, right? But anyway, where we at?
The middle of 3.
Pick it up at the top.
6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. You should do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings.
In all your dwellings. Somebody said that you can't keep the law in your enemy's land, but the Lord told Moses to tell the people, in all your dwellings.
He sure did.
Do we not dwell in this country?
Yes.
Do we not dwell in this state? Do we not dwell in this city?
Yes.
In all your dwellings. It said the Sabbath of the Lord, right? We know the Sabbath is the 7th day.
That's right.
Go ahead and finish.
These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which you shall proclaim in their seasons.
And this is the season for the Sabbath, the 7th day. So that means the Sabbath don't move. It's indestructible. It can't be moved. So now, where we going at now? Because my people,
Matthew.
We going to Matthew's now?
4.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're going to Matthew's, the 4th chapter. I tried to do it before, y'all wouldn't let me. Matthew's 4, we're going to begin reading at verse, what verse? Verse 1?
Verse 1, 1 through 4.
It's kind of funny how hot is it. Ain't nobody brought me no water or nothing. That's how much, I feel like Rodney Dangerfield up here. And for you young people, that just means I get no respect. Like, if somebody came from another city to teach y'all to have water, sandwiches, a foot rub, you know. It's all right, though. This is what gladiators do. We don't need all that.
That's right.
I'm good. Come on. You can bring it. I still had to ask for it. Okay, it ain't cold, but it's cool. Thank you.
Don't talk smack.
That's what we do. That's what we do. I'm from the east side, you know.
Yeah.
Where we at?
Matthew 4 and 1.
Matthew 4 and 1. All right, pick it up from the top.
Then was Jesus led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil.
Just after he got baptized. Go ahead.
And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered.
So he did the same thing Moses did. He fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, right?
That's right.
So he was hungry. Go ahead.
And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread.
Mm-hmm.
But he answered and said, it is written.
It is what?
It is written.
It is written. So we got to go back and look at what's written. And we already read what's written, right? The 7th day is the Sabbath, and it is holy and sanctified. Mm-hmm. And it is set apart for a holy gathering, right?
Yep.
So he said, it is written. Go ahead.
Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God.
Only some words.
All.
Every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God.
Every word.
That's how we're supposed to live, by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God, right?
That's right.
You finished that?
Yes.
All right, hold y'all place here. Let's go to Deuteronomy. We're going to Deuteronomy 8. I think. But we're coming right back to Matthew's, Deuteronomy 8. We're going to begin reading at verse 1. I already opened it, so it's cool. Thank you. He don't need no cold. Why he get cold water?
I'm special.
Yeah, you special, boy.
Ain't that the kettle calling the pot calling the kettle black? Oh, you ain't talking.
All right, come on, man. Deuteronomy chapter 8.
Verse 1. All the commandments which I command thee this day shall you observe to do, that you may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers, And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years.
So he told them, remember all of that time, those 40 years wandering through the wilderness, right? It's for us to remember that too. That's why it's written. We need to look at that and observe, why was they in that wilderness for 40 years? The Lord do a multifaceted thing. Whenever he do anything, he doing a whole lot of things at one time. So we need to remember that too. We need to look into that, investigate. Go ahead.
And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee and to know that what was in thine heart.
He said to humble thee and to prove thee and to know what's in your mind. Because your mind can change any time. What your integrity look like, though, what your character look like. See, that's what the Lord be looking at, your integrity and your character. Are you going to lose your integrity with some stress come on you? When the wrong person is in the Oval Office, or when these people with these shields run around murdering people, are you gonna lose your integrity? Are you gonna lose your mind, or are you gonna keep your integrity? Is your character gonna stay strong? Because the people that's gonna make it into that good everlasting life, their character got to be strong. It ain't gonna be no weak people getting in there. And I don't mean weak as in physical strength, I mean weak spiritually. But go ahead and read.
Middle 2. Led thee these 40 years in the wilderness to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thy heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no.
So he want to know what you're going to do. So he going to put some things on you. He going to see how much pressure you can take. Because apparently in the Garden of Eden, they couldn't take no pressure. So what we going to do? Go ahead.
And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger.
He suffered thee to hunger. My children know about that, what the older ones do anyway. I had to prove them, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Go ahead.
And fed thee with manna which thou knewest.
Start that over, man.
And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee to know that man doeth not live by bread only.
Not by bread only. Go ahead.
But by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord doeth man live.
Didn't Jesus tell that tempter that it is written? So we just read where it is written. We got to pay attention to this. See, the Lord, he always refer us back to what's written. So if you call yourself a New Testament Christian, you ain't no Christian at all, because a Christian is somebody that is adherent and obedient to Christ, right?
That's right.
He refers back to what's written. So if you don't want to go back into the Old Testament, you ain't no type of Christian. You might as well tell the truth. You a Catholic.
Wow.
You might as well tell the truth.
Oh, wow. Wow.
We done with that?
We gotta go 4 through 6.
Go ahead.
Thy raiment waxed not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years. Thou shalt also consider in thy heart that as man chases his son, so the Lord thy God chastens thee.
Say, look, the Lord, just like a man chastises his child, say the Lord gonna chastise you. A lot of people want to say, well, why this happening to me? I don't be saying that. I be like, I understand, Lord. I be upset, but I know why. I know why.
Wow.
So all I can say is that I understand. They don't mean I'm happy about it, but I understand. You know, he said, but your feet didn't swell, your garments didn't wax old. The Lord took care of you, even though you thought it was the worst time. He took care of you.
That's right.
You done?
Verse 6.
Read.
Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways and to fear him.
So we're supposed to fear him, right?
That's right.
The New Testament Christians, they're going to take fear out of the Bible, but back to Matthew 4, we're going to begin reading at verse 5. I told everybody to hold their place, so go ahead and read.
Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city, and setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple, and said unto him, If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down.
So stop reading like that, man. You'll throw me off. If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down. Go ahead.
For it is written.
He said it again, for it is written. Come on.
He should give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they should bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. Jesus said unto him, it is written, again, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God.
Whoa. So he's telling Satan, boy, I know who I am. He also saying to us, don't play with God. Don't try to tempt God. Just do what he say do. Just do what he say do. Don't try to play games with. A lot of people try to play games with God. Like he don't know what's going on. Did you forget that he created the mind that you have? That he formed your brain? That he know the inception of every thought? That means how the thought is conceived. He know about it. And he got all these angels. It's more holy angels than it is fallen angels, right? He got all these angels running around picking your brain, watching what your eyes looking at, listening to your whispers. And then you got the fallen angels. They the epitome of snitches. They always snitching. That's what they do. Because they don't want to go in that lake by themselves. They be like, it's enough room for them too. They can come in here. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them.
He said all the kingdoms of the world, right? And the glory of them, the beauty of them, the strength of them. Go ahead.
And said unto him, all these things will I give thee if thou wilt fall down and worship me.
He said, look, I will give you all this. And this is prevalent today. Because this how these people come up. Y'all know about them. I ain't got to say their names. But y'all know the baby oil people. They come up like this. Satan showed them all these things to say, if you worship me, you can have all this. And everybody's saying, well, these people got money. Not even understanding that money do not exist. It never existed. But everybody chasing it. That's to keep you blind. Everybody chasing money. I told a brother been in the word just as long as me. I said, I don't really care about money. He said, oh, you one of them. I said, what you mean one of them? Who don't want to be rich? But I'm not going to chase it. I'm not going to give up my life for it.
There you go.
You must be one of them.
Wow.
No, I'm one of those.
One of those.
Those that don't chase it. But anyway, what verse?
Verse 8.
Well, you've been on verse 8 for 2 minutes. Go ahead, man.
Again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and showeth all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and said unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Then said Jesus unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve.
So he said, get behind me, Satan. We got to do the same thing. Get behind me, Satan. I'm worshiping God. That's the only one I'm worshiping. I'm not worshiping money or nothing else. Go ahead.
Then the devil leaveth him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him.
So the devil left him alone. Say, okay, ain't no sense to mess with this one anymore. He'll do the same thing for you if you are that strong. He gonna have to go and get somebody easier than you to get, because he might be wasting his time on you. Let him waste his time.
Wow.
Exodus the 4th chapter. Deuteronomy the 4th chapter.
6th chapter.
6. I don't know why I said 4, because I'm always going to chapter 4. Never mind. Deuteronomy chapter 6. I just have I don't know, I got a thing for Deuteronomy chapter 4. We can begin reading at
Verse 13.
At verse 13. Deuteronomy 6 and 13. What do you say?
Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God and serve him, and shalt swear by his name. You shall not go after other gods of the gods of the people which are round about you. For the Lord thy God is a jealous God among you, lest the anger of the Lord thy God be kindled against thee.
See what that jealousy do? Say, lest the anger of the Lord thy God be kindled against thee. Lest his anger rise up against thee. He said, because I'm a jealous God. Do not be giving what's mine to somebody else. That's mine. Go ahead.
And destroy thee from off the face of the earth.
Whoa, go ahead.
You shall not tempt the Lord your God as you tempted him in Massah. You should diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God and his testimonies and his statutes which he have commanded thee.
So now he said you should diligently serve the Lord, right?
Yes.
Keep his statutes and his commandments. Let's go into, you know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's go into what's this, Britannica?
Yes.
Encyclopedia Britannica, what is it, volume 9?
It don't say.
It do say. It's Roman numerals. Volume 9. No, it's in his bag right here.
Oh, okay.
Volume 9.
It say holy.
Man,
I don't know where your stuff at.
I said in this bag right here.
Oh. I don't know where your stuff at.
See, if Rick wouldn't have been late.
Oh, you gonna blame me?
I'm gonna put the blame on who it's supposed to be on. That's what I'm gonna do. So it ain't your fault, brother.
All right, thank you.
It's Brother Rick's fault.
Right.
Point him out. Point him out. So volume 9, you got it? What we reading about?
Page 672. Sunday.
Sunday. Let's see where this Sunday thing come from. Because that's what they're trying to tell us, that Sunday is the Christian Sabbath day. But now we know Christians adhere to the Word of God, right? We know Christians serve and obey and listen to Christ, right? So a Christian is not going to deal with Sunday being the Sabbath. So we know Sunday is not the Christian Sabbath; it's the Catholic Sabbath. We're just going to keep it plain.
Mm-hmm.
But this is Encyclopedia Britannica, Volume 9. Under Sunday, would you say page 672?
Yes.
Go ahead and read.
First day of the week.
First day of the week.
In Christianity, the Lord's Day.
So it said in Christianity, that's that false Christianity, the Lord's Day. But it's the first day of the week. But what day is the Sabbath? Mm-hmm. It's the seventh day of the week, right? What day did the Lord bless?
The Sabbath.
What's the only day he gave a name to?
The Sabbath.
What day did he sanctify?
The Sabbath.
What day we supposed to keep a holy gathering?
The Sabbath.
And what day of the week is that?
The Sabbath.
It's the seventh day of the week, right?
The seventh.
But this say Sunday, the first day of the week, right?
Yep.
Started from the top.
The first day of the week in Christianity, the Lord's Day.
Mm-hmm.
The weekly memorial of Christ's resurrection.
The weekly, so he rose every week. This is madness. Madness. We in the DMV, demented mind zone, if we think Christ rose every week. Go ahead.
The weekly memorial of Christ's resurrection from the dead on the first day of the week. The practice of Christian gathering together for worship on Sunday dates back to apostolic times, but details of the actual development of the custom are not clear.
So it's at apostolic times, right? That means during the time of the apostles. And we can read all through this New Testament where the apostles was walking around with Jesus even after he passed, and we could find where they never kept Sunday as the Sabbath. Never. Not even when Paul became an apostle. They never kept Sunday as the Sabbath. They never kept the first day of the week as the Sabbath. Never. But they say during apostolic times. These must be some false apostles.
Must be.
They must be some false apostles serving a false Christ. That's what Matthew 24 say, right?
Yep.
But anyway, go ahead and read.
The Emperor Constantine died 337. A convert in Christianity introduced the first civil legislation concerning Sunday in 321. When the decree that all work should cease on Sunday except the farmers
Check it
could
out.
work if necessary. The law aimed at providing time for worship will follow later in the same century and in subsequent centuries by further restrictions on Sunday activities. See also Sabbatism week. That was the end of it.
Okay. All right. So anyway, this brother be throwing me out sometimes.
I'm so sorry.
I lose my train of thought.
I'm so sorry. Israel.
So Sunday, right?
Yeah.
I can't even get it back, man. We're gonna just have to move on. But it's like they got these laws called blue laws, right? And you got certain states in the United States here that's blue states. I know for one, Minnesota is one. I know Indiana is one. And I know California was one. I don't know if it's still one, but California was one, where they go by Catholic law. So they just recently started allowing them to sell alcohol on Sundays, because this is a blue state. But they still can't sell cars on Sunday. I don't think they can. So this is a blue state. So certain things you can't do. But if you look at the blue law, but we're gonna read it though. We're gonna read the blue law. I don't know if we're finna read it right now. But we done with the Sunday thing, right? We'll get to the blue law before I even give it up. We're gonna get back to the book then. Don't read fast, okay?
I surely will. Not.
All right. Ecclesiastes 12. We're gonna pick it up at verse 9. 12 and 9. Because this is what they ought to be doing instead of telling people that Sunday is a Christian Sabbath day. This is what they should be doing. Ecclesiastes 12, we're going to begin reading at verse 9. Go ahead and read.
And moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge.
So the preacher supposed to teach the people knowledge. He don't supposed to go to the Christian store and buy a sermon. He or download one from online. Yeah, you know. Yeah. Or watch somebody's video and then use that for it. No, you're supposed to teach the people knowledge, right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yea, he gave good heed and sought out and set in order many proverbs.
He set in order many proverbs. You can't find no proverbs in the New Testament. So he had to go where it is written in the old book, in the book of the law and the prophets, to seek out these proverbs, right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
The preacher sought to find out acceptable words.
Acceptable words. Go ahead.
That which was written was
what?
Upright, even words of truth.
That which was written, like the Lord said, it is written. He said so the preacher supposed to seek out that which is written. And those words are upright, say even words of truth, right?
Yes.
Read it again.
The preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth.
Mm-hmm.
The words of the wise are as golds and as nails fastened by the masters of an assembly.
A goad is a pride, or it provokes you to do something. So the words of the wise, the preacher supposed to provoke you to seek after righteousness. He's supposed to provoke you to seek eternal life. He's supposed to provoke you to make a change in yourself that you can get eternal life. Not tell you that you can come as you are. Not tell you that the Lord going to forgive you anyway. Because if he's going to forgive you anyway, why should you change?
Yeah.
Huh?
Ooh, wow.
Why should you change? If the Lord was going to forgive me anyway, y'all wouldn't even like me. And I know y'all don't like me right now. But y'all wouldn't be able to stand me if the Lord was going to forgive me anyway. Man, please. I'd be doing all kind of stuff.
Wow.
If the Lord was going to forgive me anyway. But see, we already read that we're supposed to fear the Lord. Because without fear, there's no obedience. People always want to run around talking about they love the Lord. They love the Lord. You love the Lord. Why you love the Lord? Well, I just love him because he's the Lord. But see, I fear God. Why I fear God? Because I don't want to burn forever. So I obey God.
Yes.
And I love him for his mercy. Because I'm one that needs his mercy. Some people might not think they need it. I know I need it. I know I need it. To thine own self be true. You can lie to everybody else, but don't lie to yourself.
That's right.
I know I need it. I need it bad. You know what I'm saying? Like I need caffeine, I need mercy bad. So I fear the Lord, and I love him for his mercy.
Yes, sir.
Where we at?
Top 11.
Come on.
The words of the wise are as golds and as nails fastened by the masters of the assembly.
Slow down.
Which are given from one shepherd.
One shepherd. That's the Lord. Go ahead.
And further by these, my son, be admonished.
Be admonished. That means take heed to this. Understand this. Go ahead.
Of making many books, there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. fear God and keep his commandments.
That's the conclusion of the whole matter. And what's one of his commandments? What's the fourth commandment?
Remember the Sabbath.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
That's the whole duty of man. If you do that, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Like the man asked the Lord, what shall I do to have eternal life? He said, keep the commandments.
Keep the
What you
commandments.
mean?
It's in the book.
He said, I already do. He said, well, apparently you don't, because you asked me, you telling me you already do. So that means, you know, in your mind, you lacking something. You suspect now. So I tell you what, sell everything you got and give it to the poor and come follow me. I don't know about that. Yeah, because you ain't really no commandment keeper.
That's a good point.
We done, right?
Got to read 14.
Read 14.
For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
So you can't hide from God. 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, unless you got something else on there.
That's it.
First Corinthians chapter 10. Just for the unlearned, we're going to find out who Christ is. Go ahead. Chapter 10, verse 1. What do you say?
Moreover, brethren, I would not that you should be ignorant, how that all of our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea.
So the whole nation was baptized unto Moses, right?
Yes.
But now we got to get baptized unto Jesus. But in the cloud and in the sea, go ahead.
And they did all eat the same spiritual meat.
They all ate the same spiritual meat, right?
Yes.
So they didn't go from I'm an Old Testament scholar, or I'm a New Testament Christian. They ate the same meat. Go ahead.
And they did all drink the same spiritual drink.
They drank the same spiritual drink. Come on.
For they drink of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ.
That rock was Christ. So it was Christ or the Messiah, because this is the Greek form of it. But in the Hebrew form, or Messiah, or Messiah, that's who followed them. That's who was in that pillar of a cloud in the daytime and that pillar of fire at night. That followed them when they was in that wilderness, when they was going to that Red Sea. So they drank of that same spiritual rock, and they ate that same spiritual meat. It's that one shepherd that we just read about in Ecclesiastes. It comes from one shepherd. He's the one. And his sheep will follow him. They know his voice. So if you get taken away by some foolishness, that's because you want to get taken away.
Wow.
Because his sheep, they hear his voice and they recognize his voice. I know what ain't the word of God. It don't matter how you come to me. It don't matter who it is that come to me. That ain't the word. That ain't it. I know it ain't in there. I might not know everything that's in there, but I know what's not in there. And that ain't in there. So I'll be like, you can move around. Go ahead.
Verse 5, but with many of them God was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness.
They was overthrown in the wilderness. That means he killed them. So he was not well pleased with these people. So he killed them in the wilderness. Go ahead.
Now these things were our example, to the intent that we should not lust after evil things as they also lusted.
That's why I said earlier about find out why they was in that wilderness. It was to prove them, right? But then they didn't make the cut. A lot of them didn't make the cut. So he killed them in the wilderness.
Wow.
Come on.
Verse 7, neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play.
They was idolaters. They served another god. They sat down. They was eating and drinking before that calf, right?
Yes.
That ain't no different than dealing with horoscopes. They ain't no different than dealing with tarot card readings. That ain't no different than going to talk to the psychics or calling the psychics on the phone. That ain't no different. It's still idolatry. It's still witchcraft. It's still divination. It's still necromancy. It's still all those wicked things that the Lord don't condone. All those wicked things, right?
Yeah.
He said they was idolaters, so he killed them. Go ahead.
Verse 8, neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed and fell in one day 320,000.
For not just for physical fornication, for spiritual fornication. Messing around with other gods. Trying to hide, in they tents or whatever. Going way in the back of the camp where they think can't nobody see them. Worshiping the sun. Said 23,000 people died for that.
Wow.
23,000 people.
In one day.
Go ahead.
Verse 9, neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted
Christ. So we know that. We're talking about the Messiah here. See, a lot of unlearned people, they're going to say, oh, Christ wasn't back there. Do you know what Christ means? It means Messiah. The Messiah was there the whole time. That's why when the Lord asked them, the Pharisees, what think ye of Christ, whose son is he? He used to ask them about the Messiah. Whose son you think the Messiah is? They said, the Son of God. He said, then why then, they said the Son of David. He said, well, why then in the book it say, David said, call him Lord, if he's the son of David. So from that point, they knew they wasn't dealing with no regular person. They ain't asking no more questions. Yeah. We got to be like that. We got to be like that. Go ahead and finish it, brother.
Neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed and fell in one day 320,000. Neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents. Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured.
They murmured. Go ahead.
And were destroyed of the destroyer.
And they were destroyed. They murmured against God. Be careful you don't murmur. Don't murmur against God or his servants.
Wow.
That was Corinthians. Let's go into St. John 14.
That was the end of it. Going to John now.
St. John 14. Because when we opened, we read all the commandments right when we opened up.
Sure did.
Let's see what the Christ say about these commandments. St. John 14 and where am I at, man?
Verse 8.
Verse 8.
Mm-hmm. Verse 8 and 9.
Mm-hmm. We're going to find out why I put that in there. Mm-hmm. We're going to begin reading at verse 8. Go ahead and read.
Philip said unto him, Lord, show us the Father, and it sufficeth us.
Said, show us the Father. They must have had some doubt, but he said, show us the Father, and that'd be good for us. Go ahead.
Jesus said unto him, have I been so long time with you, and yet hast thou not known me, Philip? He that hath sent me has seen the Father, and how sayest thou then, show us the Father?
Read that again.
Jesus said unto him, have I been so long time with you, and yet hast thou not known me, Philip? Mm-hmm. He that have seen me have seen the Father.
He that have seen me have seen the Father. Because the book will tell you that he is the express image of the Father. He tell you exactly what the Father said. He don't do nothing different. So he said, if you see me, you seen the Father. Why you got to go see, you seen me? That's enough. Go ahead.
And how sayest thou then, show us the Father?
Mm-hmm.
Believest thou not that I am in the Father and the Father in me?
Do you understand that the Lord sent me and I came to do everything he told me to do? Did you read the scriptures? Because it's all through the scriptures. So if I'm doing everything that's written in the scriptures, why you need to see the Father? I'm showing you the Father right now.
That's right.
Go ahead.
The words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself, but the Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. Believe me that I am in the Father and the Father in me, or else believe me for the very work's sake.
Mm-hmm. You're just doing your own thing, ain't you? Anyway, go ahead.
Got 14. Skip down to 14.
Yeah, skip down to 14. Go ahead.
If you should ask anything in my name, I will do it.
Uh-huh.
If you love me, keep my commandments.
If you love me, keep my commandments. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. So we read in the opening, when we read the law, it said that those that love him keep his commandments, and he's going to show them mercy.
That's right.
So this is not talking about the mercy that he show everybody, like he let it rain on your crops, or, he might make you pay attention before the bus run you over. You know what I'm saying? But this mercy talking about he will not put you in that lake of fire if you keep his commandments. It's a stipulation.
Yes.
It's a contractual thing. It's a covenant thing. If you keep my covenant, I will not put you in that fire eternally. That's the love he's talking about.
Yes.
Let's go.
Verse 21.
Oh, we're skipping down to verse 21. Verse 21. Go ahead and skip.
He that have my commandments and keepeth them.
Wait a minute now. Read slow, brother.
He that have my commandments and keepeth them.
And keepeth them. You can't just know them. You got to live in them. You got to abide in them. You got to keep them. So he that hath my commandments and keepeth them, go ahead.
He it is that loveth me.
That's the one that loved Jesus. Everybody go tell me they love Jesus, but they don't keep his commandments. He said the one that keep my commandments, that's the one that loved me. Go ahead and read.
And he that loveth me shall be loved of my Father.
And if you keep my commandments, that means you love me, and then you're going to be loved of my Father. Come on.
And I will love him and will manifest myself to him.
Wait a minute. So Jesus don't love you unless you keep the commandments? And the Father don't love you unless you keep the commandments? And you don't love them unless you keep the commandments? So then what is love?
Keeping of the commandments.
Keeping the commandments. That's plain and simple, right?
That's right.
We don't got to go for no Greek math or no none of that kind of stuff. No Boolean algebra, none of that. It's plain as Boolean algebra is a real thing. I'm an electronic technician, so that's what I'm saying. That's a real thing. So anyway, we don't got to do all that to understand what this is telling us. Keep the commandments if we want God to love us. You done with that?
Yes.
Okay. Let's continue. Where we going now?
Grolier Sabbath Blue Law.
Oh, we're going to this. We're going to read Sabbath again. Then we're going to read Blue Law. This is out of the Grolier. It's on the paper. It's the one. Look at the bottom. It's the highlighted. Yeah, pink.
From Compton's Interactive Encyclopedia.
It should be. That's it.
Holy.
I don't think we're doing holy. You keeping up with what's on the paper, man?
Blue Laws. I got it.
You got it? Okay, this is from the Grolier. Read the bottom of that.
Grolier Interactive.
That's an interactive encyclopedia, or because Grolier is a real encyclopedia, but I just bought the what you call it, the software.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is from the Grolier Encyclopedia. Go ahead.
Blue laws are statutes or ordinances regulating the conduct of persons, particularly on Sunday.
Particularly on Sunday. Go ahead.
Such laws are now also referred to as Sunday legislation and relate to work and commerce.
That's what they call it now, Sunday legislation. So they had to go to the legislature to make it so that they could sell liquor on Sunday. They said enough people ain't drunk, so we got to sell this. We got to keep them confused. Go ahead.
The term blue laws may stem from a book by Samuel A. Peters, General History of Connecticut, 1781, which listed the Sabbath regulations of New Haven. It was printed on blue paper. It may derive from the old definition of blue as puritanical. In any case, the American colonies had statutes prohibiting drunkenness and sexual misconduct, as well as work, play, or travel on Sunday. The church attendance law in Virginia authorized the militia to force all persons to attend.
The militia?
The police.
The militia still exists.
Yes.
Go ahead.
To force all persons to attend Anglican services.
To force them to go to church on Sunday? Ain't that deep? So this is way after the Inquisitions, way after the Crusades. They was forcing people to keep Sunday as the Christian Sabbath day. But one of these teachers, probably not me, but one of these teachers is going to get into this thing that's about to happen, because when this tribulation started, what they was doing then, the Crusades, the Inquisition, all that stuff going to be happening at one time.
Wow.
In the same place, in the same places. This is what we looking towards, what's about to happen. We ain't looking forward to it. We're just looking towards it. What's about to happen. That's why this thing going over there in the land, they trying to get all these people out of the land so they can build that temple in peace. that temple this next pope, I believe, going to take over. So these things are going to be going on. Like I told y'all about the purge is a real thing. The Hunger Games is a real thing. And they try to, this Agenda 2025,
Wow.
they try to make it happen.
Yeah.
They might not know what they're doing, but they're going to do it. Where we at? I mean, we still on that?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Although the sale of liquor on Sundays is still commonly restricted by U.S. states, other kinds of retail commerce on Sunday is now less frequently regulated. Courts in some states, Connecticut and New York, for example, have ruled that bans on Sunday commerce are unconstitutional. Some jurisdictions maintain Sunday restriction by local option. Arguments for Sunday restrictions are now more often secular than religious.
So that's why we have blue states, because some states say we're gonna do it all because each state allowed to make their own laws. So you got states like I mentioned, the three. It's more than that, but the ones I know is Minnesota, Indiana, and California, because these what you call Catholic states. That's really what they call Catholic states. So that's why they have blue laws. But now we're going into Exodus 16. So we're going to read Exodus 16, 1 through 5, and then we're going to skip down to verse 22. Exodus 16, verse 1, what do you say?
And they took their journey from Elam, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elam and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after their departure out of the land of Egypt. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt.
So they said, we wish to God we had died in Egypt. So they murmured against Aaron and Moses, but these are people that God set in place. So if you murmured against people that I set in place, who you think you're murmuring against? Huh? Who you think you're murmuring against? Go ahead.
When we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full.
They ate bread to the full. They wasn't eating nothing. they were serving in rigor. We know how slavery go.
We know how it go.
You only getting enough so you can keep on going. That's all you getting. Some of they sat by the flesh pots and ate till they was full.
Get out of here.
Man, please. Delusional. Anyway, go ahead.
For you have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. Then said the Lord unto Moses, behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people should go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no.
So I could prove them, because we read that in 1 Corinthians, he said he was going to prove them, right? Whether they were going to serve him or not. Let me see if they're going to serve me. Where you at?
Verse 5.
Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they should prepare that which they bring in, and it should be twice as much as they gather daily.
So on the 6th day, you're supposed to prepare double, right? So somebody told me they iron their clothes for class on the Sabbath because it's for the Sabbath. No, you prepare for the Sabbath.
Friday.
Thursday night begin the 6th day, right? So that's the latest you start preparing for the Sabbath. You should be prepared for the Sabbath all the time, because we looking for the true Sabbath.
That's right.
So, but this weekly Sabbath, you're supposed to be prepared for that. At least on the 6th day, you prepare double. So that means you don't do no cooking or none of that. You don't iron your clothes or nothing. Prepare what you need for the Sabbath before the Sabbath get here. The Lord is particular about that. It's not for your convenience. Well, that's inconvenient for me. So I'm going to find myself going to the lake of fire. That's what you're going to since it's inconvenient. But anyway, go ahead.
Skip to 22.
Oh, we're skipping to 20. So he said he gave him this manna, and he said gather double, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that you can have enough for the Sabbath. Don't go out there on the Sabbath trying to gather no manna. Now you think all you're doing is picking something up, right?
Yep.
Okay. Verse 22.
And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man, and all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses.
Mm-hmm.
And he said unto them, this is that which the Lord hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath.
It's the rest of the holy Sabbath. So it's the rest. So you don't go do nothing. It's the rest of the holy Sabbath. Go ahead.
Unto the Lord. Bake that which you will bake today, and seethe that which you will sieve.
Sieve just means to boil, but go ahead.
And that which remaineth overlay up for you to be kept until the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And they laid it up until the morning as Moses bade, and it did not stink.
It did not stink. It didn't have no worms. It didn't have none of that.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't got to worry about putting it in the refrigerator. They didn't have no refrigerator. And wasn't no worms in it, wasn't no maggots in it. It didn't spoil. That's what it made. It didn't stink. Go ahead and read.
Verse 25, and Moses said, eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Lord. Today you shall not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none.
There shall be none.
And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for the gather.
Because it was convenient for them, because they didn't have time to do it on the 6th day because they was having too much fun. So the 7th day was convenient for them to go do it, right? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And on the 7th day for the gather, and they found none.
And they found none.
And the Lord said unto Moses, how long refuse you to keep my commandments and my laws?
How long you going to do this? I gave you specific instructions. Specifically. That's how you end up putting your children on punishment, because you gave them specific instructions, right?
Yep.
And they specifically didn't follow those instructions. So you specifically put them on a punishment for a specific amount of time, right?
Yep.
The Lord is very specific. So he told you, don't go out there looking for this manna on the 7th day, because it ain't going to be none. And they went out there anyway. Well, I know what the Lord said, but I'm going to go and do this because this is what I want to do. All right. He gave them some quails and used the quails to kill them because they was murmuring. You done with that?
Verse 29.
Go ahead.
See, for the Lord hath given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day.
So they rested on the 7th day, not the 13th day, not the 15th day, not the 4th day, the 7th day. That's the day. That's the day, the only day that he gave a name to is called the Sabbath day. The Lord's holy Sabbath day. That's what it's called. But I'm sure the Lord was made angry by what they did, going out there on the 7th day. It ain't no joke. In fact, well, let's go into Exodus 31. Because this Sabbath is very important. Don't worry, I'm going to try to get y'all out of here in a good time. Even though I ain't letting Rob read fast, but we're going to get through it. Exodus 31, we're going to begin reading at verse 12. Verse 12. Go ahead, brother.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, verily my Sabbaths you shall keep.
Say, truly my Sabbaths you shall keep. Go ahead.
For it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am the Lord that do sanctify you.
So he said, look, it's a sign between me and you. This 7th day, it's a sign between me and you, so that you would take heed to yourself, so that you understand that you belong to me. It's a sign between us. This is a part of the marriage vows. You keeping my Sabbath. That's right. That's that ring on your finger that says you belong to me. Go ahead.
You shall keep, verse 14, you shall keep the Sabbath, therefore for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death.
Slow down, brother.
For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off. from among his people.
Said, look, if anybody do anything, he said that person's going to be put to death. That soul going to be put to death. They're going to be cut off from the people of God. And if you cut off from the people of God, what you cut off from? You cut off from God. Because the people of God, that's his children. Go ahead.
Verse 15, 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he should surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Israel should keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant.
For perpetual means continual, right?
Yes.
So that means, and we read earlier, said in all your dwellings, right? So that means being over here in our enemy's land, as they like to call it, it's where we dwell at, and we're supposed to keep this thing continually. It ain't no, I'm gonna keep the Sabbath for 15 years, and then the next 20 years I'm not gonna keep it. It ain't that. It don't work like that. Go ahead and finish that.
Verse 17 is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communion with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of God.
He wrote them with his own finger, right?
That's right.
The Lord wrote them himself with his own finger. The Lord don't do nothing in vain. This is not a vain God we deal with. Whatever he do, you might not know what he's doing, but ain't no vanity in it. He didn't make us in vain, did he? Because if he did, once we committed sin, we would have went back to the dust of the ground, and he would have came up with something else. But he made us for what? A specific purpose, a specific reason. So we got to do some specific things so that we don't be cut off from his people. But now we're going back into the Encyclopedia Britannica. What volume is it?
Volume 8, page 746.
746, what we reading? Sabbath.
Sabbath.
Right? We're reading Sabbath. So let's see if they know what the Sabbath is. Because we didn't write Encyclopedia Britannica. Now, I did a little research on Encyclopedia Britannica, how old it is, and how they went about getting their facts. It's kind of deep. But they was traveling the world trying to get these facts. Go ahead and read.
Sabbath, a day of holiness and rest observed by Jews from sunset on Friday to nightfall on the following day.
So they know when the Sabbath began and when it ends. So if the Sabbath began at even and ends at even, that's every day then. Every day begin at even and ends at even. It's every day. So they not confused about when the day start, when the Sabbath start.
That's right.
They're not confused about that. So they know when the Sabbath is. They know it's not Sunday. But they're going to say the Christian Sabbath is Sunday.
Yep.
They know what the Sabbath is.
They surely do.
Go ahead and read.
The time division follows the biblical story of creation. And there was evening and there was morning one day. The sacredness of the Sabbath was served to unite Jews during the long course of their history, and it has been for them a joyous reminder of their perpetual covenant with God.
Whoa. They even understand that. They understand that it's a marriage between God and us. Come on.
The prophets, nevertheless, often found it necessary to remind the Jews of God's commandments to keep holy the Sabbath, since absence from work was fundamental to Sabbath observance. God miraculously provided a double portion of manna, bread from heaven, on Friday, so that the Israelites would not be compelled to gather food on the Sabbath during their 40 years of wandering in the wilderness.
They just made it real plain. He said on Friday so that they wouldn't break the Sabbath. So they don't have no qualms about what day the Sabbath is.
That's right.
None at all. They know it's not Sunday.
Wow.
They know this is indestructible. So they know that can't no man come and change it to anything but what it already is. That's the Sabbath. That was it?
Yes.
All right. Let's go Exodus 35. See, we ain't playing no games here. Let them play games. We ain't playing no games. Exodus 35, 1 through 3. Go ahead and read.
And Moses gathered all the congregation of the children of Israel together and said unto them, these are the words which the Lord hath commanded that ye should do them.
Said the Lord commanded these things. These are not the laws of Moses, as people like to tell us, the Mosaic law. Moses don't have no law. Say these are the commandments of God that we supposed to observe and do. Go ahead.
6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day there
On the what day?
But on the seventh day.
On the seventh day.
There shall be to you an holy day, a Sabbath of rest to the Lord. Whosoever doeth work therein shall be put to death.
Shall be put to death. Because you purposely breaking the laws of God. We already read that Jesus said we should live by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. And we know he came down that mountain and spoke these words with his own mouth. And everybody heard him. The whole congregation of the people heard him. However many hundreds of thousands of or millions of people it was, everybody heard him. That's how I know that he put the law in your mind in the first place. Because he didn't write them down there first. He just spoke them at first. That meant, and he spoke them with his own voice. That means you better not forget. You heard the voice of God. How you going to forget that? Why would you need some fringes to remind you that you heard the voice of God? Huh?
Good point.
Unless you a sinner. A willful sinner. Anyway, that was it?
Yes.
You sure?
Exodus 35.
Yeah, that's what we read.
You ain't read it yet.
We didn't? Okay. 35, 1 through 3. Go ahead.
And Moses gathered all the congregation of the children of Israel together and said unto them, these are the words which the Lord hath commanded that you should do them. 6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day there shall be to you a holy day, a Sabbath of rest to the Lord. Whosoever doeth any work therein shall be put to death. You should kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day.
So on the Sabbath day, say you shall kindle no fire. Now that don't mean on Friday you go turn your furnace off. that means on Saturday you don't go turn it on. You don't do anything like that. You don't light no cigarette. You don't smoke no blunt. You don't do none of that on the Sabbath day. Because kindle means to raise or start. So then you can't start no fires or anything like that on the Sabbath day. Or if the fire already burning, you can't turn the heat up now. You better make sure it's where it need to be at. You better check the weather app. But that was it.
That's a good point. Yeah.
All right. Rob, keep trying to commandeer my lesson here. Anyway, let's see how serious this Sabbath is. Let's go to Numbers, the 15th chapter. We're going to go into the what you call the Friends chapter.
Yeah.
Let's see what it's really about. Because I heard somebody say wearing fringes is our culture.
Yeah.
How is it our culture? When it came about because of sin. Our culture. So it looked like we all in Numbers. I'll be forgetting where I'm at. 15 and 32. Numbers 15 and verse 32. What did he say?
And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day. And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses and Aaron and unto all the congregation. And they put him in ward because
that means they locked him up. Go ahead.
Because it was not declared what should be done to him.
They say it was not declared what should be done to him. But all this that we had read, right, in Exodus and stuff, and in Numbers, it already was declared what should be done to him, right? I mean, I said Numbers, I mean Leviticus. But anyway, it was already declared what should be done to him. But they didn't want to do it. Maybe he was their boy. You know, that's my boy right there. I don't want to do it. Let's see if we can get out of it. Let's see if the Lord going to change his mind. Let's see if the Lord changes his mind. Keep on reading.
And the Lord said unto Moses, the man shall be surely put to death.
Oh, the Lord didn't change his mind. So the Lord not going to forgive you anyway?
Nope.
Because if he was, then he was, well, you know, he was just gathering sticks. I mean, he wasn't really building no house. He was just picking up sticks. But why was he picking up them sticks? And why was he out there in the first place? And the Lord said, keep a holy convocation.
That's right.
Why are you out there gathering sticks? See, the Lord is particular and specific about this Sabbath. Go ahead.
Verse 36. And all the congregation brought him without the camp and stoned him with stones, and he died as the Lord commanded him.
So he made the whole congregation do it. Since y'all want to play, all y'all do it.
Mm.
All y'all stone him.
Wow.
That's deep. The Lord's like, are you going to do it? Just like he told Jonah to go preach to them Ninevites, and he tried to get out of it. And the Lord was like, oh, you going to do it. And speaking of that is a precursor to what's happening right now. Even though the Lord had to force us to do this like he had to force Jonah, but we're in the belly of the whale. And we got to do this thing right. We got to preach this gospel. We got to teach these people to serve God. So that means we got to know how to serve God ourselves. That means our character got to be intact. Our integrity can't be lost.
Yes.
We got to do this thing. And we got to show it unto our children and our children's children so that they can do this thing. So they can do the job that we dropped the ball on. We might have fumbled the ball, but they can grab the baton and keep on running. So that's why we got to do it right. It ain't about your pleasures. It's about what thus saith the Lord.
Yes.
We done with that?
Yes.
So this man was out there gathering sticks, and he died just for gathering sticks on the Sabbath. So be mindful of yourself when you decide that it ain't convenient for you to do stuff another day and you're just going to do it on the Sabbath. Be mindful of this. Okay. We should just read that all over again, shouldn't we? Mm-hmm. All right, Leviticus 19. Why y'all so quiet? We just reading.
Didn't you say you was going to read about fringes?
We already read about fringes.
You never got to that. No, you didn't.
We didn't?
No.
Okay.
Chapter 35.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, maybe we'll get back to it.
Mm.
Yeah. But anyway, the fringes came after that. He made them wear fringes because of sin. But, okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put it in another lesson. Keep on coming. That's a cliffhanger, right? All right, Leviticus 19 and 1. What did he say?
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, you shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy.
Say, you shall be holy. We got to be holy. Do we know what holy mean? Holy mean perfect, right?
Yep.
Holy mean complete.
I thought I was speaking in tongues.
Holy means whole. Means we are a complete package. That's what holy means. Go ahead and read.
Verse 3, you should fear every man, his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbath. I am the Lord your God.
Wait a minute. We got to fear our mother and our father and keep the Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that a whole lot, though? Because we New Testament Christians. Why should we honor our parents and keep the Sabbath? Because we don't want to die. That's why.
That's right.
Because as Bill Cosby would say, I brought you in this world, I can take it. I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. That's what my parents used to say to me. All the time. Boy, I'll kill you. And they wasn't playing either. Anyway, where we at?
Verse 4.
Go ahead.
Turn ye not unto idols, nor make to yourselves molten gods. I am the Lord your God.
So we got to honor our parents. We got to keep the Sabbath, and we can't worship idols. So the Lord just don't change, do he? He just don't change.
You got to honor the Lord too. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yes.
That was it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh yeah, so we're gonna get this what this holy is, right? This is from the Compton's Interactive Encyclopedia under holy. Now what is it on the bottom of that paper?
It says Compton's Interactive Encyclopedia.
All right, thank you. This under holy. Go ahead.
Holy, adjective, leer, liz, base of OE, sound, happy, whole. First used in OE as trans of El Saxer, Sanctus, and vulgar, dedicated to religious use belonging to or coming from God, consecrated.
All right. But you know, it's circle 1, 2, and 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Spiritually perfect or pure,
Spiritually perfect or pure.
untainted by evil or sins,
Untainted.
sinless,
Sinless. That's
Saintly.
without sin. Go ahead.
saintly, regarded with or deserving deep respect, reverence, or adoration.
Mm-hmm.
Slang, very much of a generalized, intensive, holy terror, often used in interjectional compounds to express astonishment, emphasizes compounds to express astonishment, emphasis, holy, cow, holy smoke.
All right, take it easy. Take it easy. Just. So you finished 1, 2, and 3?
Yes.
That's all we need.
Okay. You have 4.
Just one, like I said on the paper, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. All right. Rob know how to make me want to get out of here. He the man. He love y'all. All right. What we doing now? Deuteronomy, right?
Yes.
Deuteronomy 5. All right, pick it up at 12.
Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work.
He keeps saying the same thing. The 6 days you do all the things you got to do for yourself. That's for you. But the 7th day, go ahead.
But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
That day belongs to the Lord. It's the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. If you're a servant of God, the Sabbath is the 7th day. Come on.
In it thou shalt not do any work.
Uh-huh.
Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy ox, nor thy ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as thou.
So it don't matter who they are. It don't matter what nationality they are. If they your servants, they get to rest on that day too. So that means we supposed to propagate all the commandments of God. We supposed to let it be known to everybody that we come in contact with that's a part of our dwelling. If they dwell with us, if they work for us, then they got to hit to the Sabbath thing. Now, what they do on their own is their business, but you ain't coming to work on the Sabbath. The doors are locked. You won't be coming to working here. Ain't no overtime. That was it?
Yes.
Okay. Let's get to the new book, Luke the 4th chapter. Luke 4. We're going to begin at verse 13. 4 and 13. If you got it, brother, go ahead and read it.
And when the devil had ended all the temptation, he departed from him for a season.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus returned in the power of the Spirit into Galilee, and there went out a fame of him through all the region round about.
Go ahead.
And he taught in their synagogues, being glorified of all. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and as the custom was, he went into the synagogue.
Now, this is his custom. He went into the synagogue on what?
On the Sabbath day.
So we know what the Sabbath day is, right? So
Today.
so if Jesus was going to change the Sabbath from the 7th day to the 1st day, this is where it should be at, right?
Yep.
Said, but as his custom was, He went into the synagogue or the religious edifice on the Sabbath day and did what?
And stood up for to read.
And he read. So he didn't jump and gyrate and flip over the chairs and stuff. He read. He didn't do no
hacking.
praise dancing or nothing.
No hacking.
He read.
Hack.
Come on.
That was it.
So he did it on the Sabbath day, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we'll read the rest another time then. That was Luke.
Luke 13 now.
Luke 13 now?
Yes.
Okay. Luke 13. Luke 13, we're going to read 10 through 17. Luke 13, 10 through 17. What did he say?
And he was teaching in one of the synagogues on the Sabbath.
So now, first he was reading, now he's teaching in one of the synagogues on the Sabbath. Go ahead.
And behold, there was a woman which had a spirit of infirmity 18 years.
18 years she had this illness. Come on.
And was bowed together and could in no wise lift up herself.
Mm-hmm.
And when Jesus saw her, he called her to him and said unto her, Woman, thou art loose from thy infirmity.
So he told them evil angels, let her go. Because that's all it was some evil angels. He said, let it go. You loosed. Go ahead and read.
And he said, and he laid his hands on her. Immediately she was made straight and glorified God.
So he did this on the Sabbath day, right?
Yep.
So certain things is well to do on the Sabbath. It's well if you hand the homeless a sandwich or something. Or, give him a bottle of water or give him a coat or something. It's okay to do them kind of things. It's like I always talk about a man that was stranded. This was back in Chicago in the wintertime. I saw him stranded. He trying to get this car going, and I pulled over. I was on my way to class. I pulled over. I said, "What's up?" He said, "My car won't start." What is it? It's the battery. I said, I popped my hood. You got cables? He got cables. We can go and hook him up. I let him do it. He got his car started. He was like, "Let me pay you." I said, "God forbid." He's like, "Where you from?" I got to go to the Israel of God, right? He was right around the corner from the class. I'm going right there. Just so he'd know that we ain't no fanatic people.
Amen. That was good.
Praise God.
Amen.
But see, that's how we got to keep our integrity. But go ahead and read.
Verse 14, and the ruler of the synagogue answered with indignation because that Jesus had healed on the Sabbath day and said unto the people, there are 6 days in which men ought to work. In them therefore come and be healed and not on the Sabbath day.
Said, look, don't come on the Sabbath day to be healed. It's just like if I would have left that man out there because it was dead winter, snow was up to the knees, and he trying to get warm, and I just said, oh, well, it's the Sabbath, I can't help him. How would he learn about God then? But now they telling him, don't heal nobody on the Sabbath. If y'all want to be healed, don't come get healed on the Sabbath. But it didn't seem like that lady asked to be healed, though. The Lord saw her and did what he was sent to do, what the
That's
Father
right.
sent him to do. But go ahead and read.
Verse 15, the Lord then answered him and said, thou hypocrite, doeth not each one of you on the Sabbath loose his ox or his ass from the stall and lead him away to watering?
So you water your animals on the Sabbath. Go ahead.
And ought not this woman, being a daughter of Abraham, who Satan had bound, lo, these 18 years be loosed from this bond on the Sabbath day?
Say, you hypocrites. You would water your animals and feed your animals on the Sabbath day, but this woman, this daughter of Abraham, you think it's okay for her to still be bound by these unholy angels? What's wrong with you? Go ahead, my brother.
Verse 17, when he had said these things, all his adversaries were ashamed, and all the people rejoiced for all the glorious things that were done by him.
So they should have been ashamed. You're going to take care of the animals. It's just like these people, I seen the police cut off a whole street, West Broadway, down by Penn, because a cat got hit by a car. But 2 blocks down the street, a man got hit by a car, and they wouldn't even let the paramedics go help him. God is my witness. I saw this. My ex-wife was a witness too, and I was trying to help the man. She said, "No, come on," because they did not want nobody to help this brother that was on the ground, spitting up blood. the ambulance was around the corner. I could see it. And I'm like, hey, let them come help this man. They told me it's unsafe. It's unsafe, so y'all just gonna let him die? But for a cat or a dog, they'll stop traffic.
Wow.
This
Wow.
how savage these people are.
Wow.
We done with that?
Yes.
Hypocrites, man. But that was Luke. Let's go into Matthew 12, and we got a few more places after that. Matthew 12. I'm telling y'all what I seen with my own eyes.
Wow.
See, back home, I probably would have laid hands on them cats.
Yeah.
I just had a lot more to lose at that time, you know. But Matthew is the 12th chapter. We're going to begin reading at verse 1. 12 and 1. Go ahead, my brother.
At that time, Jesus went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were hungry and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day.
Why the Pharisees always watching him? Was y'all stalking him or something? Everywhere he go, y'all there. We see what you did. Come on.
But he said unto them, Have you not read what David did when he was a hunger, and they that were with him, how he entered into the house of God and did eat the showbread, which was not lawful for him to eat?
There he go tell him to go read what's already written again. Said David ate the showbread. That was only for the priest. David wasn't no priest. But go ahead.
Neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests. Or have you not read in the law how that on the Sabbath day the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless?
Because they got to keep a fire going in the temple all the time on the Sabbath.
Yep.
Go ahead.
But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple.
That's talking about himself, the Messiah. Go ahead.
But if you have known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, you would not have condemned the guiltless. For the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day.
Say the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath. I'm the one that gave you the Sabbath.
That's right.
And you're going to try to tell me about the Sabbath I gave you? If you had known who I am, I ain't going to say who I was. If you had known who I am, I'd have mercy. And I wouldn't have to sacrifice. But now something got to die. Because you don't understand. You finish it?
Yeah.
All right.
We got to do read 11 and 12. We didn't finish that.
We'll finish it, man.
Okay. You was talking. And he said unto them, what man, verse 11, and he said unto them, what man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into the pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on it and lift it out?
So if your sheep fall in the ditch on the Sabbath, you gonna go get it out, ain't you? If your car get hit on the Sabbath, you gonna take it to the shop, ain't you?
That's right.
So you gonna tell me that they can't pluck some ears of corn and eat? They wasn't making no baskets of corn. They walking through just plucking the ear of corn. They ain't chopping it down and doing all that. They just like you in the apple orchard, just pick an apple, eat the apple. Go ahead.
How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath days.
See, it's lawful. That don't mean you can do whatever you want to do or work on the Sabbath. He said, but it's lawful to do well on the Sabbath. Those things that are necessary to be done, you can do. Like saving somebody's life. Like if somebody having an issue, you go give them the Heimlich maneuver or CPR, whatever you got to do. You save that person. But it's the Sabbath. I'm not gonna give them CPR because it's the Sabbath. You gonna let him die? He said, how much better is this man worth than the animals? Because the animals not gonna get eternal life, nor are they gonna get eternal damnation. But this man got to deal with it. Now we got to start over. Genesis chapter 2. No, I'm just playing. But when electronic devices go off like that, then we got to start from the beginning. But we ain't gonna do it today. Just to, heads up. The next time we're gonna have to start from the beginning. Now I forgot where I was at.
Gotta finish 13.
You finished 13?
You gotta finish it.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and finish it, brother.
Then said he to the man, stretch forth thy hand. And he stretched it forth, and it was restored whole like as the other.
So he called him. He ain't said that time, but still, he called them hypocrites. Anyway, Jeremiah 17. Then we got two more places after that. Jeremiah 17. Oh, what verse? Yeah. 17 and 21. 17 and 21. Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord, take heed to yourselves and bear no burden on the Sabbath day.
So now we understand what bear no burden is, but we read another place. It's about, he was telling them that, don't bear no burden, don't carry nothing that you got to sell, because that's what they was doing in the days of Nehemiah. And they was carrying these burdens out so they could take them to the gate of the city and sell to the other people. But you don't carry no burden out unless it's a necessary thing, like how we bring our food here. You could do that, but not no stuff like, you're gonna sell or nothing like that, or no tools to work with or nothing. But don't bear no spiritual burdens either. Don't bring your problems here. Your issues, Go ahead.
Bear no burden on the Sabbath day, nor bring it in by the gates of Jerusalem. Neither carry forth a burden out of your houses on the Sabbath day. Neither do you any work, but hallow ye the Sabbath day as I commanded.
That means to make it holy. Go ahead.
As I commanded your fathers. But they obeyed not, neither inclined their ear, but made their neck stiff, that they might not hear nor receive instruction.
So they made their own neck stiff. That just means they were stubborn against what the Lord was saying.
Stubborn.
They were stubborn. And he showed us in the wilderness what they do to stubborn people. And one day he killed 23,000 people.
23,000.
Another day he killed 3,000. Another day was more than that. With the serpents and all that kind of stuff. Like I'll show you what your stubbornness is going to get you.
Ooh-wee.
I'll show you. That was it?
Yes.
All right. Isaiah 58, that's where we're going? Isaiah 58. Why y'all got to be stiff-necked with them electronic devices? Like, come on now. You know the book ain't never lied when they say Israel are stiff-necked people. They make their neck stiff against the Lord. Anyway, Isaiah 56 and verse
58.
58, verse 13. What do you say?
If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbaths, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath of delight, the holy of the Lord, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thy own ways.
Not doing thy own ways,
Nor finding thy own pleasure.
Nor finding thy own pleasure. We talking about the Sabbath day here, right? Go ahead.
Nor speaking thy own words.
They get real deep with it. Nor speaking thy own words. So for you people that like to walk around and use profanity on the Sabbath day, the Lord said you can't use your own words. And the profane words don't belong to the Lord. Them's your words. Go ahead.
14. Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth.
He said, I'm going to cause you to ride upon the high places. That don't mean you're going to have money and riches and all that stuff. That means your understanding going to increase, and you're going to be able to teach some people how to serve God and how to get salvation. But not only that, he can make you rich too. It's in his power. Go ahead.
And feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken
So
it.
you'll get eternal life if you just follow these specific instructions. Last place, Isaiah 56. Because a lot of people are going to say it's just for Israel, but we're going to see. We're going to begin reading at verse 1. Isaiah 56 and verse 1. This is it. You got your announcements ready?
Yes.
Okay, this is going to be it right here. 56 and 1. What do you say?
Thus saith the Lord, keep ye judgment and do justice, for my salvation is near to come,
He said, my salvation is near to come. Slow down a little bit. Go ahead.
and my righteousness to be revealed.
Uh-huh.
Blessed is the man that doeth this, and the son of man that lay hold on it,
Come on.
that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting
That
it.
keep the Sabbath from polluting it. Now we know how to keep the Sabbath from polluting it. We didn't just went through this whole lesson, and we know what the Sabbath is. We know what it's not, and we know what's required. He said to keep the Sabbath from polluting it. Go ahead.
Keep it from polluting it. Oh, man.
Come on, brother.
Okay.
No, we're going to start at verse 1.
Blessed is the man that doeth this, and the son
No,
of man.
start at verse 1.
Thus said the Lord, keep ye judgment and do justice, for my salvation is near to come,
Don't read fast.
and my righteousness to be revealed.
Uh-huh.
Blessed is the man that doeth this, and the son of man that lay hold on it, that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and keepeth his hand from doing any evil.
Come on, brother.
Neither let the son of the strangers that have joined themselves to the Lord speak, saying, the Lord hath utterly separated me from his people.
Don't let the stranger say that. The stranger that has joined himself to the Lord, don't let that stranger say the Lord have utterly separated me from his people. Because you got an issue with what the other people did, but the ones that are serving God, they ain't them other people. They just like you. They're Israelite just like you. They might not be children of Jacob, but they still are Israelite because they take hold of the covenants of God. Don't let them say that the Lord have made a difference between me and his people when I keep the same commandments and the same statutes and the same laws. I keep the same feasts. I keep the same path. I do everything that they do. Don't let them say that the Lord made them separate from us, because when they came out of Egypt, it wasn't no separation. They didn't have a section for the stranger. They was all together. And the Lord said, thus said the Lord, hear, O Israel. He didn't say Israel and the stranger. He said, hear, O Israel. He said, tell Moses, tell the children of Jacob in the congregation of Israel. So he's talking to everybody. He's talking to everybody. So it ain't just Israel keep the commandments of God. It ain't just Israel keep the commandments of God. This is for everybody. Because when he gave the commandments, there were no Israelites. That's how Cain and Abel knew to pay their tithes. That's how in the days of Seth they was calling on the name of the Lord. These things were already in place. That's how Satan got kicked out of heaven and all the angels that followed him, because they broke the law. The law was already in place. Let's go.
Verse 4, for thus said the Lord unto the eunuchs that keep my Sabbath and choose the thing that please me,
They've chosen the things that please God. Come on.
and take hold of my covenant.
And they took hold of his, that's what pleased the Lord. They took hold of his covenants. Come on.
Even unto them will I give in my house and within my walls a place and a name better than of the sons and of daughters.
Because, hold on, brother, you're reading too fast, man. Take it easy.
I agree.
Don't forget who's teaching. Now, read that again so I can find my thoughts back.
Okay. Verse 4. For thus said the Lord unto the eunuchs that keep my Sabbath and choose the thing that please me and take hold of my covenant. Even unto them will I give in my house and within my walls a place and a name better than of sons and of daughters.
So now, he said better than of sons and of daughters, because some sons and daughters are going to get cut off because they stiff-neck against the Lord. So now, there's going to be somebody to take your place. Them same people that you hate going to take your place. And it can be broken down to you in the book of Ezekiel when the Lord talk about, it's really talking about the kingdom of Jesus, how even the strangers are going to get certain parts of the land. They're going to get a plot of land just, if they want to dwell in the midst of the people of God, they're going to be able to. They're going to get a part of that land, because the land of Israel go from the Nile River all the way to the River Euphrates. That's how big the land really is. It's not what we see, that what we call the land. It's just that they was disobedient, so the Lord didn't let them take it all. So now it's from the Nile River to the River Euphrates. That's a whole lot of land, a whole lot of land. And some of them gonna be in there and you not. So be mindful of yourself. Check yourself. Go ahead.
Middle of 5. I will give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off. Also the sons of the stranger that join themselves to the Lord to serve him and to love the name of the Lord.
They love the name of the Lord. Go ahead.
To be his servants, everyone that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it.
Everyone that keep the Sabbath from polluting it. Come on.
And take hold of my covenant, even them will I bring to my holy mountain.
He's gonna bring them to his holy mountain. That's when the Lord comes, when the heavens roll back and he come down, he set up his kingdom on this earth. He gonna bring them to his holy mountain. Go ahead.
And make them joyful in my house of prayer.
He gonna make them joyful in his house of prayer. They're gonna be joyful. So that don't sound like they're gonna be your slaves. So they're going to be joyful in this house of praise. Go ahead.
Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon my altar. For my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people.
For some people.
All people.
For only Israel.
All.
All people. How many
All.
people is all people?
Everybody.
Everybody. Everybody on this planet who took hold of the Lord's covenants and keep his Sabbath from polluting it. He said his house is going to be called a house of prayer for all of them. The household of faith. So I thank you for your time, and I hope that somebody gets some understanding from this lesson today.
All right.